Hey everybody, Mike Naso here from IPR, and we are 3 days into November, and still hurricane season 2007 rages on. And despite the actual activity, say for the United States, being down this year, we did have one Hurricane Humberto. It has been pretty devastating. We had 2 Category 5 landfalls, Dean in Mexico and Felix in Nicaragua, and of course Noel has killed hundreds in the Caribbean. You can see the latest map today. We already have something else brewing. As I noted a few days ago, sometimes these systems leave things behind, and it's true we may have a developing tropical depression. But there goes what's left of Noel, now extratropical, but still has winds of hurricane force, and the cloud shield goes all the way into Pennsylvania and New York. It's moving off towards the north and northeast, but if you're in Maine, watch it. That center of circulation down here is moving away from you, but it's going to be a close call. Out in the Atlantic, we do have another wave and one behind that, and even though development is not going to occur out there, it could if the systems were to get into the Caribbean. So even though it's late, La Nina is strengthening, which means we may still have some more activity. Here's the latest satellite shot of what's left of Noel, and you can see the center once again right in here. But as it becomes extratropical, the cooler waters, keep in mind they get very cold up here, are going to have its toll. And so even though there's some nasty weather on the western side of it, there are a lot of strong winds away from it as well, and it's a rather big extratropical cyclone. And again, the actual center pinpoint of landfall is going to miss Cape Cod, is probably going to miss Maine, and go right here into Newfoundland, Nova Scotia region. If it takes more of an eastern turn, then it's right over the Nova Scotia area, so watch out there. And keep in mind, even though the system's missing the United States directly, we could see some nasty weather. In fact, you can see the latest radar out of Boston, and the center, of course, right out in this region here, and you're getting a lot of rainfall, but the rain shield is slowly progressing back towards the Atlantic, and shouldn't be a problem. You can see that even better the way the rain shield starts to push more out rather than in, which is good news. But again, the rainfall rates have been pretty impressive. Cape Cod, you can see a lot of those yellow echoes showing up on radar right there. Boston, you've had some heavy rain as well, so certainly a nasty nor'easter type of system, no doubt about that. Now, when we look beyond Noel and look into the Caribbean, we have this. This is an area of low pressure left behind by Hurricane Noel, and you can see it's starting to become a tropical depression, as the Hurricane Center notes. And recon's supposed to go out tomorrow, and it's got very good circulation starting to develop here. It's got good convection, especially on the northern, western, and southern sides. Needs some more convection on the east, and you can see that better on the IR, showing up pretty good there. This is all going to move generally towards Nicaragua, and it's interesting to note this year how far west everything has been. Even when Noel was bound to go north, it went as far west as it could along the north coast of Cuba, because see the clip model here, the climatology would mean that this moves west and then gradually progresses north as a trough would catch it and push it out. And remember, Hurricane Michelle was a November hurricane this time 6 years ago. It's Category 4 and ended up hitting Cuba and then heading out over the Bahamas. However, this one's expected to continue towards the west or west-southwest, and it's going to be interesting because as long as the center of it would stay over water, it could intensify, but as you can see, the H-Wharf takes it inland, and it continues it. The BAMs take it inland. One, in fact, has it making a second landfall 5 days from now in Mexico. If it moves like the no-gaps is showing more towards the southwest or the south-southwest, that would keep it over water much longer. Remember, Hurricane Beta 2 years ago was forecast to come up and then in, and what it ended up doing was go up and then turn to the west and then to the southwest, and what that allowed it to do was stay over water long enough to become a major hurricane. So this should come inland. It's moving steadily, but slowly but steadily to the west, but it could still develop. And the reason why it could still develop, as you can see, there is a very favorable anticyclone right over the top of it in the Caribbean. You can see this here, very low wind shear, very favorable pattern. And the waters, of course, are still very warm down there, so As long as whatever center there is stays over water, it will be able to intensify. Now, whether or not it could become a depression, it looks like it is. Would it become Tropical Storm Olga? Still too early to tell. A hurricane, though, as long as it goes inland, does not seem likely, so we'll have to wait on that. Finally, you can see the image there, the rainfall subsiding as Noel moves away, and this system heading into Nicaragua. And in the western Pacific, we have a tropical storm, Pepa, and this is centered at 17.4 north, 125.8 east, 50 miles an hour. It's moving west quickly at 19. It should become a typhoon, hit the Philippines, which has been battered in the last few years, and then take a dramatic southward dive and strengthen more back into a Category 1 typhoon as it heads towards, I think this is Vietnam. So you'll have to watch out there, and you can see the satellite certainly looking more and more interesting as time goes on, with a center of circulation developing in there, and you can see it even better on this vantage point, a impressive developing typhoon it looks like, and heading towards the Philippines. I'm Mike Naso from IPR. I'll see you next time.